Hello, I'm Derek Bowster, a resident of Stoke Canon, where I've lived for approximately 40 years. Stoke Canon is a very low-lying village wedged between the River Culm and the River Exe. The Exe is about half a mile away on our west side, and down the west side we also have the main railway line that runs from Exeter to Bristol to Paddington. What we have over there is some raised embankments, and these are part of our protection from the River Exe flooding. This is the River Culm here, and the Culm will cover these whole fields here, and eventually it would backflow to the village if it was allowed to. But fortunately, the bunds hold the floodwaters back, and this low embankment surrounds the whole village to varying degrees. We have a 1 in 100 chance of flooding, and this has improved greatly in the last 10 years with the flood prevention scheme that was put in by the Environment Agency between 2012 and 2014. Before that, our chances of a flood was about 1 in 20, which was quite considerable. I'm an amateur, I don't know what you'd call it, rainfall measurer. I have a simple rain gauge, and this measures every drip of rain that falls out of the sky. The last big flood was in 2012, going into 2013. The embankments on our east flank, the Culm side, were complete, but unfortunately the banks on the west side had not been completed, which meant that when the Exe broke its banks simultaneously with the Culm, the Exe crossed over from the west, came across the railway line and entered the village. This was in January 2013. This picture was taken of the emergency services rescuing nearby residents. This was repeated again in early January, and we had water getting into the properties, and the psychological scarring is still there with people and never goes away. Yeah, we have an emergency flood plan which we've recently updated in November. We cover the aim of the flood plan, the need for a flood plan, initiation of the flood plan, the action plan, evacuation, emergency rest centres, who does what with. Currently we're getting a lot of transportation of digestate from a local plant which is being stored locally, and we've got concerns about digestate runoff into our rivers and upsetting the balance within the river. I'm involved with water testing in the Culm, and which I've only been doing for 3 months now, and I monitor 4 sites in the lower Culm, which are very close together, and but it would potentially give us information about pollution incidents. With a sink for the water that falls down in the Blackdown Hills, and local runoff. I mean, we don't mind them holding up the Culm up at the north end, but we don't want anything that holds the river back at Stoke Canon. We want to see the river moving past us as quickly as it can, and empty the floodplain, which is what we'd like to see.